This level from my game B.I.R.D is called Magmatic Mine, and if you notice the gems in the background, you might see that they pulse to the music. Today, I'm going to show you how I made this effect. First, I created different color materials for the different instruments. There are 5 total instruments, those being the bass, the strings, I don't really know what to call this, the blue thing. Then we have the harpsichord, and finally, the brass synth. I went into the MIDI of the song and figured out how many unique notes each instrument played, and only placed that many gems for that instrument. This way, every gem placed will pulse at least once in the level. Now, to have them pulse at the right time, I could have done this with MIDI, but I didn't. I did it manually. Kind of. I purposely broke the song into repeatable parts that I could chart once and then paste in multiple times. Every cue to a pulse is a vector 3, so just XYZ coordinates, where X is the time it should play, Y is the note index, so which note should be played, and Z is the time the note is held before it should start fading away. I have different lists of repeats, and then I have a list that tells the script which repeats to add when. In this case here for the strings section, the Y coordinates at 0 say you should play the repeat at index 0, which is this set of notes here, and then it goes through the list on the X positions and says, okay, first we're going to add all these with an offset of 0, and then we got to do it again at 28, so we're just going to add that same repeat again, but add 28 to every X value in the repeat, and so on and so forth. The script will take the completed list that gets made at runtime and will tell each gem to pulse when the next cue time happens. I've thought about if this would have been faster to do with MIDI, as I do use MIDI in other parts of the game for more complicated songs. And I think that it would have been slightly faster, but I still would have had to change the index of each note since the instruments skip a lot of notes in the scale, meaning I would still have to manually adjust the numbers of each index. So I actually think that this was a pretty solid way to tackle this for the specific song in this specific context. Now that we've got the gems working, how do we display this? It would be pretty inefficient to copy and paste them a bunch of times throughout the level, and I would have to worry about positioning them inside the rocks. Instead of that, these gems get rendered through a separate camera onto a texture, and this shader here takes that texture and tiles it. What's nice about this shader is that it tiles the texture based on world position, which means I can place as many blocks as I want, and I don't have to worry about textures not lining up. If you're wondering how this works, let me break it down for you. In games, textures are mapped onto 3D objects using UVs, which stand for nothing. I looked it up, and they're called that because the letters X, Y, and Z are used for triangle coordinates, and then W is perspective stuff and some other stuff, I think, and the letters U and V are essentially the X and Y coordinates of a texture. Hopefully that made sense. If not, don't worry. A standard UV for a plane or a cube looks like this, with the red channel being the X and the green channel being the Y. These are what the default UVs look like for the cubes that use this shader, and this is what the texture would look like if it used those default UVs. But now, with the world space, this is what the UVs look like, and this is how the finished textures look. You'll notice that I also rotated the texture since it makes it harder for your brain to realize that it's a repeating texture when you're playing. Combine all of these with a heat distortion effect and a particle system, and you get this result, which I'm super happy with. BT dubs. B.I.R.D is going to release in either December or January, so make sure to wishlist it, and if you really want to try a bit of it before then, you can play the free demo on the Steam page. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.